Okay, I still have 10 kilometers to go. According to the com, I have 22 kilometers left in the battery. Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. The things I wouldn't do for you. After a really long 10-hour evening shift, I actually got to bed like 1:30 this morning, so and here I am testing. But anyway, we decided to take a double test, basically 2 battery fulls, same route, 2 ways. So we used the full battery going to Skoda City, and then we take the same route back in the evening, but the other way. So at the moment it looks like we will be having a little bit of tailwind when we go up, so we would be having a little bit power left when we get to Jyväskylä, but I suspect that when we come back we have a little bit of headwind and also it might rain, so it looks like we won't be making it back home with one charge, but we'll see. So the total trip today is about 500 kilometers. It's going to take a long time, so I need to make the video a little bit shorter. So I'll just show you a couple of things and the charging and things like that, so you know where I'm going. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so we are on the way. Doing 86, so 81, 82 real speed at the moment. Aircon 22, automatic like always. We are using eco mode, but the reason for that is quite simple, because the weather is favorable. It's actually quite nice weather. We don't need much aircon, we don't need heating, so we are not compromising our comfort level in any way. The main speed limits for this day is going to be 85 and 105 kilometers an hour, and we are not using any motorways or highways at all today. Just A roads, relatively good surface A roads that we are going to be using, and yeah, let's see, this is going to be interesting. If we make it with one charge to Jyväskylä or not. The things that happen when you have to think about so many things when you do this. I just noticed a while ago that I didn't reset the trip meters. Fortunately, I had only been driving around 20 kilometers, so it shouldn't affect the average consumption reading too much. But yeah, so this is what happens sometimes. You might have noticed already on my earlier videos is that I have the lane assist off on this car when I'm doing these trips, and the biggest reason for that really is that the lines are so close to each other, the one lane is so narrow that every now and then the car is doing unnecessary corrections, and that wouldn't really be a problem. I don't actually mind that, but the problem is that the electric power steering is using power every time from the battery when it's doing that, and if that happens like hundreds of times on a longer distance, then it will affect the consumption a lot, so that's why I keep it off. I have driven now over 60 kilometers, like 62 or something, and GOM is still saying 232, so at least for the moment, according to the GOM, we would be making it almost 290 kilometers. with one charge, and I'm guessing that's mostly because of the tailwind. So we are getting like 1 or 2 meters per second tailwind at the moment. Yeah, it will be interesting and thrilling to see the end result. Sit rep. We have done about 80 kilometers now so far, and GOM is saying 211 left. Average consumption so far has been really low, 10.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So I guess the 1 or 2 meters per second tailwind is helping us at the moment. But when we get to the halfway point, I will have a short break there, and we will see what the readings are at that moment, and then we will continue all the way to Jyväskylä. So we are here at Padasjoki ABC service station, and according to the odometer, remember I reset the trip meter at 21 kilometers, 22, so we have done 110, roughly 110 kilometers, and according to the GOM we still have 193 kilometers left, which is really good. Average speed so far has been 74 kilometers an hour. And those of you who don't know what the average speed means, is that including all the stops, if you slow down or have to stop in some intersection or whatever, that also counts. So average speed 74, that means that we have actually made good progress. So far, consumption has been below 11 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Let's hope that it stays like that, so we don't have to think about it anymore. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, so we will continue. We actually have a little bit more than a halfway to go, about 120 something kilometers. Yeah, we'll try to see if we can make it. Okay, we're doing 105 now, 106, and for the second time already, I noticed one thing when I was leaving from the service station. It seems that sometimes this car, even though you press the brake pedal when you turn the ignition on, it doesn't do the ready sign. There's no sound, and you can't actually drive the car. And then you have to turn off the key and then turn back on. I don't know why is that, because the only thing that is required is pressing the brake. And for some reason, it just doesn't seem to work every time. But it's only happened twice for me now, so hopefully that is not so big of a deal. Okay, we are now in Jämsä. Don't know if you can see it, but yeah, there's a service station here. The reason I stopped here for a while is to do some calculations. We have roughly something like 90 real world kilometers left on the GOM. The distance according to Google Maps to our destination is still like, what, 65 kilometers? So it's because the remainder of the way is still mostly 105 kilometers an hour. It's really pushing it. We are really dangerously close to actually not making it, but yeah, after this place it's pretty much desert as far as the charging availability is. So there's no chargers between Jämsä and Jyväskylä, and that is what worries me. So if we do run out of power, we have no place to charge. But yeah, let's see what happens. I have almost 10% left in the battery at the moment, and I still have about 20 kilometers left, so this is as close as I've ever had to drive without having the possibility to charge before reaching the destination. So it will be interesting to see what kind of reading I have in the COM when we actually make it. I think it's going to be really close. Okay, I still have 10 kilometers to go. According to the COM, I have 22 kilometers left in the battery, but it's going down rapidly because I'm driving 100 kilometers an hour again. It will be really interesting to see what is the end result here. But a good test, extremely nice test for the car, and it will reveal the total distance that you can actually travel. Okay, we made it to the charger, but the charger says at the moment that it's going to take like an hour and 55 minutes something to charge. So it's going to take a while. So I'm just going into the shopping mall and see what's what there, have a little break, something to eat, and check later how it's charging. Yeah, so this is our spot for a while. The charger said that we had about 7% left when we arrive here, so yeah, not a lot, but we still made it. And granted that the conditions are perfect, so if there was anything like rain or the weather was colder or hotter or whatever, I wouldn't see it happening, so it would have been too much distance. Okay, we are ready to go back home. Car is fully charged, 100%. Showing what, 16 kilometers of range at the moment, but of course that is a floating charge, so it will go down a little bit once we get on the highway. About the charging, we got on the CCS fast charge, we got roughly 32 kilowatts of power, which was pretty nice, but because it tapered off at the end, I wanted to make the rest of the charging with the AC. And I noticed the AC was actually quite slow. For the last like 15%, it took more than an hour more than 1.5 hours to charge. But I still wanted to make it a 100% before I leave. So yeah, let's go back home. Okay, so we have 2 meters per second headwind at the moment because the wind hasn't turned. We are just going to the opposite way. GOM is still saying 252 kilometers, and every setting is the same. We are still in Eco, and aircon is 22 and auto. All looking good so far. Okay, we are at our halfway point. Consumption 12.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers so far. 129 kilometers left on the GOM, 130. Okay, so we are in Padasjoki again. halfway point, and it's time for the driver to have a pee and coffee break here. Then we will continue all the way to Hyvinkää and see the end result. How much we consumed both ways. Okay, 110 kilometers to go. Driver's feeling a little bit more refreshed. And we'll see how things go. Okay, so we still have 119 kilometers on the gum. We have 110 kilometers to go. But the good thing is that most of the hills, steep hills, are behind us, and so is the 105 kilometer an hour stretch. So I think the whole rest of the way is 85. So we shouldn't have any problem whatsoever getting home. But we'll see. At least I have plenty of charging opportunities now at the last piece of the leg, so if it looks like we are going to need it, then that will be relatively easy. So we'll see what happens. It's a beautiful clear night, good weather, so yeah, looking good. Okay, we are back at home. Super long day. Okay, the GOM says 16 kilometers left. I drove the battery like super empty, but no turtle mode yet. Travel time 3 hours 6 minutes. Average consumption 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Total trip 11.8. So actually there's not a big difference between going slightly tailwind or slightly headwind. It's almost the same. Distance was 236 kilometers. Yeah, so yeah. I'm going to charge the car tomorrow because it's so late. I want to get some coffee and then go to sleep, but yeah. Okay, so the total amount of money that I had to pay for the electricity on this trip was about 17 euro. And the rest of the electricity was free went, meaning that it was free chargers in a shopping mall, etc. So 17 euro is the one that I had to pay. That's all the costs for almost 500 kilometers of driving, so not bad. That's it. Hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed. It was a long day, but I still enjoyed driving, and hope to see you guys again. Keep watching the videos, and please follow us on Twitter if you don't already. Yeah, I will go to sleep now.